Hello, friends. Hello, Hearties. So I titled this series When Calls the Hearties, putting a call out to all the different Hearties. And each Monday, they're going to be my guest. This is my first guest, Miss Nikki Longnecker. How are you doing, Nikki?
I'm doing great. Excited to be here.
Oh, I love that you're here. So you're a super Hearty, like a super fan. That's what I consider.
Super hearty and very much a super devoted, but not stalkerish Chris McNally fan.
Oh, that's cool. I'm going to show because it's looping in, so you have to give it like a minute as people are coming in. But Christina Lohman, who is the lead admin for the Chris McNally fan page, and the person who created it is here saying hello.
Yes, I follow Chris, and I'm so thankful to you, Chris.
And look, you've got Catherine saying hello. And I love this. We have Kathy from Australia tuning in.
Oh, how is it down under?
Yes, so we're global here.
Woohoo!
Carrie's saying hello.
Oh, Carrie,
And Rona.
my
Avis
sweet
is here.
Carrie. She was my tour guide when I was at the HFR.
That's wonderful because we're gonna talk about that as we're all saying hello.
Lillian, yes, Lillian. I met you. You're a doll.
And Arlene and Lily and I are friends too. She's on the East Coast, not far
I
from me, a couple hours
know.
away.
I
Same
need
with
to come
Rona.
visit.
Yeah. Look at D. D, you're from Jersey. I always forget where because you should be coming to visit me when we get together with some of our Jersey girls. Okay, Sarah's together with Sophia, and they're saying hello. I wonder if they're at work. They probably are at work on duty.
Are they nurses?
Yes, yes,
Oh, God bless you.
I know. Margaret's here, and so is Deb.
Hi, Deb.
She's gonna behave, okay? Because if not, then she's gonna be in trouble because she's gonna be one of our Monday night guests too.
Now, Deb's from Illinois, and she has a Facebook group, right?
She does. And when she comes on, she's going to talk, and she's going to share about her Facebook group too, which many of us know about. D, I would love to, Roxanne. All right. Well, then, D, message me on Facebook if you can. And if I know we're not Facebook friends, but you can message me and I'll find it in message request. And oh, Sarah says we're at work. Shh, don't tell. Yes, yes. Oh, and Carrie's like, she's at work too.
Yeah.
Cindy, this is cute. When Nikki and I were at HFR, I got sick at the end, and Nikki was so sweet to go and get me medicine in the rain. She's the best.
Yes, and Cindy, you're the sneaky one that got a picture with Chris.
While you were out with the medicine?
No, after the HFR, they told us we couldn't take pictures. And so, dumb me, when I went out, I didn't even take my phone, and I walk out, and here is my roommate getting a hug from him. And here's Cindy getting a picture with him. I'm going, what?
Oh God, I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's start off with the they call it HFR for what? What is it? It's
Hearty
Hearty
family reunion.
Family reunion. So let's talk about, first of all, what it is that you have to do first. Oh, look at all your goodies. What do you have to do first, Nikki, to even be able to go on the trip? What's the first step?
Well, we weren't sure if they were going to do one. We were pretty sure they were because they were already filming season 11. And the announcement came out on the official page that great news, we're doing another reunion.
Okay, I have a question about that. If you were not on the official page, is it advertised anywhere else?
I'm not sure, unless it would be on Hallmark, but I only saw it on the official Hearties page.
I do know that I saw some type of an advertisement or promotion from them on X or Twitter, but I was thinking more about how you actually get to sign up. Is there like a link?
Well, yes, they put the announcement out so they could get us all excited, and then they came back with another announcement and said, okay, registrations will be
Got
open
it.
on this date and this time, and there will be a link. And so I wasn't able to go to the one before. So I wanted to make sure I got on this one. So it happened to be, I have been retired 4 years, and at that time I hadn't started working at the school yet. So it was like at 8:01 or something in the morning that the link
You got
opened.
on. I have a question. Is it because I'm going to be snappy with you, so I'll
Okay, bring
was
it
the
on.
we have a lot to cover.
Okay.
Was the link when you assign one? I remember there was a lottery, and I don't remember if the lottery was because it was COVID time, or is there a lottery every year because not everyone gets to go?
Well, I don't think maybe there used to be, but in the last couple of years, they've started with this lottery, and it was when you got the link, you clicked on it, it opened up the registration form, and I filled it out real quick and submitted it. And I must have been one of the first couple that hit it, because I think I submitted it like at 2 or 3 minutes after.
Okay. So Lillian's saying you have to enter a lottery and you register, and then it's a random selection.
Right. After you
Okay.
fill out
All right.
the registration, you submit it, and then you have to wait. It could be up to 2 days. And then you'll get a response back. Yes, you've been accepted.
Okay.
And
Now, let's talk about costs. Like what was it that it cost you? Um, not I don't mean airfare, because you do have to pay for your own
right,
airfare, correct? And you do have to pay for your own hotel, correct?
right.
What was the rate? Do you get a special rate as a Hardy for the
They
hotel?
do. They negotiated with a local hotel.
And what was the cost?
The cost for the registration fee for the 3 days was $425.
Okay. And
And
then what was the hotel?
the hotel was
Because it doesn't include the hotel, correct?
no, the
All
hotel
right, so
was
hold on, Nikki. I want to break it down into something specific. So don't give me any extra information. So like my mathematical brain can't handle
okay.
it. So first I wanted to talk about the hotel. So the hotel was how much? You can just give me a ballpark amount.
Oh, it was around, well, I had a roommate, so that split it, but I think it was like maybe $299 a night.
Okay. And you were there for 2 nights or 3?
Well, I came in on Thursday.
Here it is. Lillian says the 3-day ticket was
Was $455.
$455. Okay.
Okay.
So what's that 3-day ticket mean? What's that?
Well,
The
that allows you to, there was a God, I'm trying to look here at the
All right,
thing.
I'm confused, so let's stop. Don't worry and look about anything. I'm looking at what they're all saying. So Lillian is saying her hotel room was $289 a day. And that's what you had just said, right?
Right.
Right. Excellent. Okay. And is the what when you're there, I know people come in at all different times. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested solely on the actual event itself. Is there a Friday night reception?
Yes. Well,
And so,
it's yes.
okay, so you want to be there Friday night and you want to be there Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, is there something that goes on Sunday?
Yes, that's the
So
tour.
all right, so 2 nights at least. So $289 a day, which of course you can split, right?
Right.
Okay.
And
Now,
there was also a Thursday night event where it's basically just check in, register, get your gift packet and gift bag and all of that.
you don't have to go to that one, or do you have to go to
No,
that one?
because you could pick it up Friday morning, because they had people at the desk too.
Okay. So now when Lillian's saying it was $455 for the 3-day ticket, is that what's included? Is that the tour? And okay, so tell us what's included in that.
Okay, that's the early check-in was Thursday night if you wanted to do it. If not, you could do it Friday morning. And then once you registered, Friday was pretty much your own until I think it was about 7. And they had an event Friday night that included the meal. And they brought Brian Birdtalk to Michael Landon and
Jeanette, right?
Hallmark people there. And they had, is it Brad? He's one of the bigwigs, Brad Kirchhoff or Cavoy or something.
So it includes the dinner at that reception, and then it includes the tour.
Right. And
on
then all
Sunday.
the Saturday events.
And then Saturday is when you have a panel with the cast?
Yes, all the different cast members and the behind the scenes people.
Does it include breakfast or lunch or dinner or anything? Or is it only one meal?
Most of the time it's just the meal at night, except for Saturday, because Saturday we were that was more of an all day thing. But Friday we had time during the day, and then we had time Sunday afternoon. And Cindy and Lillian and Carrie, you can jump in here too. And if I'm not remembering things correctly, so.
Okay. All right. So we're looking at so you had meals that you had to pay for. So again, I just want to clarify this. You got it included on Friday night dinner, yes?
Friday night.
That's the reception.
Right. That's the welcome dinner and kickoff party was Friday night.
Carrie says lunch Saturday and lunch Sunday. Okay. So it's 2 lunches and a dinner. All right. So 2 lunches, a dinner, the tour, meeting the actors, the actor panel, and that reception the night before with Brian Bird and them. Am I leaving out any events?
No.
Okay. And that's what cost $455,
I think.
Okay. And then your airfare, and Saturday night was an ice cream social and an early showing of the next day's episode. Okay.
That was Saturday night, Saturday evening.
Cool. All right. That's cool. So you got to see the next episode and they gave you an ice cream social.
Right.
And was that in the hotel?
Yeah, they have a big ballroom. And I think that's another reason why the number of people they take is limited, is
Makes
because
sense.
of space. I think
Sure.
I talked to, I think Marg a little bit about it. Excuse me. And I think they said they limited to like 300 people.
Okay. Lynn, it's not in a state. It's actually where the set is, which is in Canada. So
it's in Vancouver, and the hotel we stayed at was actually in Richmond, BC.
Yes. And that requires a passport as well.
Yes, it does.
Yes. Okay. So we're looking at, when you add it all up, about what was it again, for like 450, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like we're looking close to $1,000 for the trip.
Oh, way more. Oh, for just the hotel and the registration?
Yes. Why? What else would you have to pay for?
Airfare.
Oh, no, I'm not even talking about
Okay.
that. Yeah. I'm talking about that itself, because some people would drive, some people would be like, yeah, okay. All right. I was just curious about how much it was. And Lillian, it's that I'm not talking about airfare, because not everyone would fly. I was talking about the actual events themselves and how much it would cost for the rooms. That's what I was talking about. Yes. So it's a pretty expensive trip, but would you consider worth it?
Yes, because I got to meet Chris, even though I didn't get a picture, but I did get to be kind of close. And the the cast, there was 3 separate entrances into the ballroom. And when the main cast came in, they came in the door that was closest to me. So, and I can tell you that story. I don't know how much time we've got here, but I about fell out of my chair when they opened the doors. I know that.
So, Cindy's saying worth every penny.
It was. It
yeah.
was because 2
Carrie
reasons.
said so too.
Vancouver had always, there's my troublemaker. Can everybody see?
Yeah, we see.
This is McNally, everyone. And he's ornery, but he's handsome, just like his namesake. But I forgot what I was saying now.
You were saying, you were just saying how exciting it was when they opened up the
Oh,
door.
yes. And when I got picked, and I don't know about everybody else, but maybe because I was one of the first ones that replied back, I got my confirmation back pretty quick. I mean, it was that same day. And Vancouver's always been on my bucket list, so I wanted to see Vancouver. And then, of course, going up there and having the chance to see, meet the cast, especially Chris. And I've met some wonderful people out there. Lillian, I got to meet her, Martha Hermson, Carrie, Cindy, Reggie Ma, and we all had such in-depth conversations. And
nice.
I wore this shirt when I traveled, and it was funny because when I got on the bus to take us back to the hotel, there was 4 other ladies already on the bus, and I walked up the steps and turned around, and they go, "Oh, look, another Heartie."
That's cute. That's cute. Now let's talk about when you became a Heartie. When did you when you like? I know that people are fans, and then you're a Heartie. So when did you first discover When Calls the Heart?
Well, I had watched the original movie when it was on, and I can't remember what year that was now.
A while.
Yes, it was. I think it was like 2012 or 2013 or something like that. I'm not sure. But, and I thought that was good. And then when the series came on, I watched it off and on, kind of periodically, because at the time I, had 6 grandkids still in middle school and high school. So we were busy. And then I think it was around maybe the end of season 2, season 3 that I really started watching religiously, and recording. And
that's when you became a Heartie.
That's when I became a Heartie. And then I continued to watch, and like everyone, was devastated. I was frustrated because they were taking so dang long to get this couple married. Hallmark moves too dang slow for me. But then they got married, and then Jack died. And I thought, what the heck is going on? And so I was pretty unhappy, even though we knew, that a baby was coming. But then I was kind of on the fence. And then I started seeing posts about season 6 and the announcements that Chris was coming on and Kevin. And I had been a Chris fan for several years. I caught some of his earlier stuff and was always intrigued by him. And so then when I read that he was coming on, I thought, maybe I'll just go watch. He'd be an awful nice thing to watch every Sunday night.
I have a question. What if instead of showcasing the new Mountie and the new guy that was coming in, Hallmark focused more on like some of the other new characters, and we really didn't play up in the advertising and the promoting those two men. Like instead they showed Fiona coming in. Do
Right.
you think, because I was so heartbroken as well, do you think with your being upset and worried about, Jack being, had died, and yet we knew she was pregnant, would you have watched and been so eager, or would you have stopped? What do you think?
I think eventually I would have continued just to see where they went with her pregnancy.
Okay.
And back then too, they were doing some Christmas episodes, and I really liked
Yeah.
those.
Yeah. So did I.
But then
Love that.
the added fact that they were bringing these two new guys on, especially Chris, I was really intrigued.
Right. Right. Teasing you is Brian. He's like, Nikki, is your cat supervising? He
It's
looks so cute.
it's McNally, so he can do
He's here.
pretty much whatever he wants. McNally is in the house.
I know Arlene is saying Nikki McNally's doing a nice photo bomb behind. Give him a spark, love.
He's kind of my shadow, because he kind of follows me all over. And if I sit on the couch, like at night to watch TV or read or something, he's always on my lap. So he is
He's your friend.
buddy. He's my buddy.
All right, so now season 6 is there, and for those of you that are Chris McNally fans, the fan page this year, every month, whenever something has premiered and it's its anniversary, we focus on it and do a little chat. We just recently did about, because it premiered in February, the one where season 6, where Chris was introduced, and so many people love that season. But do you have a favorite season out of all the seasons that we've had from 1 to 10? Is there one that stands out for you?
Oh, that's a tough one, because there's parts of every season, since Chris came on, there's parts of every season that I love.
Okay.
But as an overall complete season, it would probably be, of course, the kiss on the bridge at the end of season 8, but then season 9, because I loved their romance, and there was just an intimate feel to their relationship, and a loving feel. And I just really, really enjoyed them together. And I have to say, if she does really hook up with Nathan, I don't know where she's ever going to kiss that man, because I think she kissed Lucas in every possible location.
We'll find something special for them. We'll find, so it's funny.
There's not much left in the swamp. I guess the log.
No, there's probably all kinds of cool things. So Christina says she loves season 9. For me, even though this is about you and not me, but it's always about me. No, for me, I loved season 1. There was something about season 1 that the stories were gritty, and they kind of pushed the envelope a little bit for Hallmark, especially during that time. And I would find myself crying. I would, like, at some of what was, and some of it was like, and Kathy and I, while we were waiting, the long wait that we had for season 9, we did every season. We had people come on from that season. We talked about what we learned from that season. And we talked about how it was totally different. And I'm sorry, I have to boot somebody out from here. I don't know how that person came here. All right. I'm banning them and booting them. Okay. It's just somebody, once in a while that happens. Some person slips in and it's like spam in your comments.
Oh, yes.
It just, the things that went on, and the storytelling, and the children, and I don't know, I just thought it was so powerful. That's mine. So you're thinking you've got something special in each, like, what was that, season 8 with the kiss?
Yeah, season 8 was a roller coaster. But it had some terrific scenes. I mean, the scene where Lucas comes late at night and sets her free. Oh my heavens. That was such a great scene. I mean, Chris was fantastic in that scene. And I can remember them posting, and I think it was even Brian Bird maybe that came and made a post after that, because we were all brokenhearted, and he said, kind of to the extent of, no, don't fear, Hearties, all will be well, or something. And then of
Yeah,
course
he
we
always
had
comes in.
a
Yeah.
fabulous kiss at the end.
Yeah.
But as an overall season from 1 through 12, it has to be 9.
Okay. Brian saying his favorite one is a toss up between 3 and 7. Okay. All right. Interesting. I thought 7. I'm kind of there with you, Brian. There was something about 7. It was very exciting. You weren't quite sure where things were going, but the other side storylines that they had were pretty powerful. So I'm kind of there with you, but I don't know. I just love, 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 love season 1. Now, if you had to choose a favorite storyline through the years, including 1, 2, and 3, that kind of, it's not necessarily your favorite because you might have many, but it kind of had a lasting impression on you. Can you think of one that like pops right into your head?
One that I thought was pretty compelling was when they saved all of the settlers that were camping outside, and Elizabeth was trying to teach them, and
Yeah, I
when they
love that.
knew that the dam was going to break and they were going to get flooded out. There was a lot going on in that. But I guess what stood out to me in that one is that the town was so worried, how will we take care of these people? Where will they sleep? How will we feed them? And all of a sudden, here's Rosemary, who's preparing for her wedding, just jumps in, and very selfish Rosemary jumps in and volunteers all the food and stuff from her wedding to feed these people.
Even the fabric for the dresses and the
Right.
gowns was used to create bandages and I think that's one of the things that I love. And some people say, "Oh, that's hokey and corny." I don't care. I need hokey and corny. I love the idea of a community coming together, and it wasn't so hokey and corny for back then. You know
No,
what I mean? Yeah, people
it
did
was
that.
not. It was not unusual, I don't think, back then for people to join together
Yeah.
and rally around.
Deb is saying that she's watching those episodes right now. Jack just woke up from being saved. Yeah,
Right.
I love that. Do you have what about a journey, like a journey story? Because some stories, and they're not always romance, go through like this journey through the different seasons. Do you have a favorite journey story for any of the characters or like the couples that stand?
Henry.
Yes. I mean, what a story, right? When you look at Henry from the first time he was kind of spooky when you
He
first
was
meet.
downright mean.
Yes, and then you see him later on. I thought that was a really, really good journey. Lillian is mentioning that too. Yes. And I have to tell you, I am such a Rosemary fan. I have a Rosemary and Lee page. I'm not alone. There I have people that are admins with me. But I love her journey. I love how they showed her from this very self-centered, selfish woman who is still very self-centered and about herself. However, how she's grown, to me, that's realistic because she's not like a 180. You know what I mean? She's definitely still growing. Do you have like anything else besides Henry that stands out to you that's like a journey story?
Um, well, I'll have to say that I liked and really enjoyed Rosemary and Lee and Rosemary up until this season. And I
Okay.
am not a big fan of Rosemary after season 10.
Okay, but I'm asking you what was like a something else that you may have liked besides the Henry journey.
Um, let's see.
While you're thinking,
There's probably so many, and I'm trying to run them all through my head right now. The progression of the children, I think, has been interesting.
You know what? That's so funny you said that because as you're saying that, that pops into my head. I'm reading that mind. They really have come a long way. Like Allie has changed quite a bit. Remember when we first met Allie? What a brat.
Well, the first season she came on in season 6,
Yeah.
I liked her. But then in season 7 and on, I thought if my kid would have acted like she acted, I don't know what I would have done, because she's going to be the town busybody here when Rosemary and Elizabeth pass on, because she's got to have her hand in every bit of the business. And I don't care for the Al character and haven't for a couple seasons.
Okay,
But it's
Brian.
funny because at HFR, when they brought the kids panel on, Jada, she is, I think, in real life, she talks all the time. She's
Okay, hold on. No, that's good. That's good. We're not going to go there with that. Sorry. Brian, I'm agreeing. Brian, I'm sorry. Brian saying Arlene season 3 was really strong for Elizabeth as a teacher, and I love the stories with her students. So that's why
right,
someone was trying to agree with Brian for season 3.
right.
And then someone is agreeing with you right here. And I like this because I like how they worded this, where Kathy says Henry's journey has been a gift, which
Yes.
is which is nice. And it really was. Okay, so I was saying that was one of my favorite things was Allie's character growing and changing. And when I first met her, I thought she had a lot of spunk, but I was like, oh, she's so bratty. And then she grew out of her brattiness, and this past season has become much more mature. And I love how the writers took the time to dedicate to show that and have it evolve. So for you, it's been Henry, you said that's the journey story. What about Elizabeth's journey? What is it about Elizabeth in her journey that you've enjoyed? Because we've really seen a lot go on with her because she is the center of the story.
Right. Well, it's funny to me because I think it was season 2. Wasn't that when she went to Hamilton when her mother was sick? Do you remember?
I do.
And
I like that.
I think, and of course, Jack went with her, but I thought it was interesting when she finally got back into her life before she came to Hope Valley, how easily she slid back into that life.
Yeah.
And I know Hope Valley was always in the back of her mind, but I think that was part of her journey too, to deciding where she really wanted to be, because she was at a crossroads there. She could have easily just reverted back and gone back to Hamilton because she fit back into that role very easily.
And I liked the part where she even asked what was so bad if her father was offering him a job. Remember?
Right.
And he was like, "What? Like you should know the answer to that, you know?"
Right.
Yeah.
And she just didn't, and she was mad at him because he was like, you're not even considering this. Why are you not even considering this? And I'm going, ooh, you don't know this man as well as you think you do, dear.
All right. That's true. That was a good growing pain for them.
Right.
You know what I mean? To really extend. And then when they did finally get back together, not that they were separated, but when they finally did, it was even all the more sweeter. Sarah is saying that the love journey between Ned and Florence, we need more of Ned and Florence. I mean, of Ned's inventions.
Ned and Florence was one that I did not see coming at all.
Okay.
Until it was kind of boom. Yeah. And I'm going, oh, okay. And I really, in all honesty, I liked Bill and Molly together. I also really liked Bill and the accountant, AJ.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really like their interaction too, and
They so
I
good.
kind of wished they would have figured out some way to bring her back into Bill's life. I don't know that I like Bill and this Madeline very well.
I really enjoyed Bill when he was I liked when after I loved him with Abigail, and then when their
Yes.
relationship broke up, how they still had a flirty spark. And I don't know that they wrote it that way, they just did, but when they would be competitive, like who cooked better or who did whatever.
Right.
I love that. And the sarcastic things that they said to each other, they were really like a great scene partners. But even though their relationship had been over and done with, it was still like fun and exciting. I really enjoyed it. Let's see. Sarah is, I'm sorry. Here's one. Avis said, I love when Lucas found out Elizabeth wanted to write and he did everything he could to encourage her to write, got a publisher and his mother to edit, book, publish, and party. See, that was all part of the magic of season 7. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just about them. It was other things in that storyline in that season that I love too. That's why I was saying 7 is like up there for me. Yeah. Yes. So what keeps you watching? What's been keeping you watch more recently after you said it was iffy with the death of Jack, and then you got a renewed sense of being a Hardy. What was it that kept you going?
Chris, I loved his character. I loved his season 6 character when everybody thought he was shady and up to no good, and then he slowly kind of emerged. And I think one of the saddest scenes for me is after uh the Amos Dixon incident.
Mhm.
You know, Nathan comes to check on him, and Lucas says, gives him a line, but he's very slyly opens the door so that Nathan can see Elizabeth's basket laying on the floor. Now, if he wouldn't
Mhm.
have done that, Nathan would have gone right on to his rounds.
Yeah.
But I felt after everything was settled and Dixon and his pal had been arrested, and Elizabeth and Chris walk out of the saloon, and he tries to give her his coat, and she just goes, no, leave me alone. And she leaves with Lee, and then he looks around, and all of the townspeople are just
Yep.
kind of looking at him like, who are you?
Yep.
What have you done now? And I thought, oh, that poor guy, he's trying so hard. That was I think a sad scene for me.
They
But
wrote that well. I like that because right afterwards, immediately we saw that he was good. We saw all
yes.
the little things that he was doing right away. Yeah.
And so yeah, it's just so I did kind of like season 6 Chris. He had a little bit more swagger.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
And season 7 he kind of was toning it back a little bit, and he was pursuing Elizabeth a little bit harder. And then of course season 8 was will she, won't she, will she, won't she. So that was frustrating. And like, oh my God, every week it was like, oh, you think you're making inroads, and then boom, you get knocked back down.
Right. All right. So now, Arlene, we're rolling. I'm Arlene. I'm calling you Arlene. I'm sorry. Arlene said Lucas season 6 swagger was awesome. So Nikki, we're rolling into season 11. Are you going to be watching season 11?
I I don't know. I probably will. I record all of them. I have them all recorded.
Cool. So do I.
And so I'll probably record it. I might wait to see what kind of comments people are making.
Mm-hmm.
I may watch the recording just so I can fast forward through all the Nathan and Elizabeth and just watch Chris.
There are people in the past that have done that. I mean, if they're being honest, many people have said that they just went by because they only wanted to see their favorite character. And in doing so, and if they really did, they missed a lot of really what happened. So their thoughts about what was really going on with the other characters is a bit distorted. So for me, if I, and that's your prerogative, I'm not saying you can't do that, but if for me, I really want to recap and really understand, I'm going to have to watch all of it, although some of it might torture me. Do you know
Well,
what I mean? Yeah.
that's what's going to be hard for me after the lovely season 9 that we got. And season 10, I still don't understand. It makes no sense to me. But it's going to be very, very difficult because not only do I love Chris, but I fell in love with the Lucas and Elizabeth love story.
Sure. Yeah, that's one of your
And
favorites.
and that's what I wanted to see.
Yeah.
And throw little Jack in the mix there. And it's just really, really difficult to just even think about her sitting there. With Nathan. I just don't know if I can stomach it.
So the one thing that's nice when and people are when they're looking at how people are upset that she and Lucas are no longer together, one of the things that we have to remember is that wow, whoever wrote those storylines did an exceptional job that they made people feel the way they felt. Like people love this couple and they're so upset that
Right.
they're not coming back. Just is like bravo to those writers. They did a great job and bravo to the directors and bravo to the actors because they made people, a lot of people in the fandom feel that like
We
loyalty.
felt that love story.
Yes. Yes, and so much so that when they talk about it, they talk as if they're real characters. Lucas wouldn't do that. Well, Lucas is going to do what the writers do say.
Right. And
You know?
I tried to keep that in the back of my mind thinking
No.
they are not real. They are
No.
not real.
No.
But it's really hard sometimes. But
I know. I know.
I want to support Chris. I would do everything in my power to support him and help further his career. And I have all kinds of ideas for spin-offs for him or roles that I'd like to see him play. And I know it isn't Hardy related, but one I thought, I don't know, and this will probably really date me, but back, I think it was in the 70s, sometime late 70s, there was a show on called Remington Steele.
Oh, I know. I watched it. Watched it.
Right. Well, Pierce Brosnan was Remington Steele. And I thought, how cool would a remake of that series be and have Chris be the Remington Steele, but have Pierce Brosnan come back on occasionally as his dad?
You know what? Listen here, Nikki, you got something going. I love that. I wanted to, Brian has a question for you. And by the way, Brian will be our guest, my guest. He'll be my guest. He'll be one of the When Calls the Hearties, and we'll be talking about all the things he loved and loved, even though he's kind of shared some of that now. Keep it to yourself, Brian, so you can
He'll
do
probably do a better job than I am. I'm kind of all over the place here.
No, that we're talking about everything. You're fine. All right. So Brian says, Nikki, when Jack died, did you think the show was doomed storyline wise, or did you just lose heart because he was so beloved? That's a good question, Brian.
That is a good question. And to be real honest with you, I don't know that I had any direct feeling that the show would end. I think I thought it was a possibility because normally when major shows like that kill off a major character,
you're like, where's that going?
Yeah, it's like, what are they going to do? Yeah. But when I heard, and I was really on the fence about whether I was going to watch, but the fact that they ended it with finding out that Elizabeth was pregnant kind of drew me back in. And then when I found out Chris was coming on, that really drew me in.
Cool. Chelsea Kong is saying, I heard that people will just record it and watch later. Okay. I was advised not to watch since it made me so negative. Oh, because your feelings were so upset. Like okay, you needed a little space and time. Oh, um, let's see. Um, let's see. Jeb is saying the couple of promos that we have seen still show Nate as a bumbling goof. That's true. They do show him as being like tripping over stuff and so and whatnot. I see that. I saw that too. And Gladys is saying, I will watch because of Chris and I want him to succeed. So she's kind of agreeing with you there, what you had just said. Yeah. Um, let's see. Chelsea said it forced a lot of negativity when I brought up my views and facts on Lucas and Elizabeth and what they did with the show. They are very hostile against what I have to say. Okay, I see what you're saying there. People are just saying, Catherine said, I'll watch too. I look at the new episode as a new series with no expectations. I'm there with you.
And that's a good way to look at it
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Let's see. I would like to read up Jean. She's loving Remington Steele. I think that's what she was saying. I loved
Right.
that show. I think it's a good idea. I love
But
your idea.
Chris would be perfect in that role because that guy was very well, he was gorgeous and he was kind of, suave and debonair, and I loved it. And I loved the pairing with Stephanie Zimbalist that they paired him with too. So that could be a Chris and Julie thing.
Yes. Oh, that's so good.
Another one I thought of too. I don't know if you watch any old movies, but there's an old movie series on, it's the Thin Man series with William Powell and Myrna Loy.
Yeah.
They are such a funny couple. Of course, there's an awful lot of martini drinking in that show, so I don't know if we'd go that far. But that's another show that I think, Chris could be the detective debonair guy, and Julie could be the the wife that always is throwing him the zingers.
Yes, she could keep him on his toes, right?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so I wanted to read some of what came out. Now, I have to tell you, I did not do enough research. So I think it was Star Watch Byline, and I am not saying anything against them. What I'm just saying is that's where I'm reading the source is from. But who posted this? I don't see that it's come out of IMDb Pro. I have not looked because if it's not the Pro, the regular IMDb that, sorry, all of us can access often has many mistakes in it.
But Pro you have to subscribe to, right?
We have to be, yeah, you have to pay a fee and be accepted. Yeah. So the other part too that I wanted to point out is that sometimes like TV Guide and things like that, they'll take the descriptions. They're not always accurate, but that's a disclaimer. So this is what it says. It says for the first episode, it's called When Stars Align. Elizabeth turns over a new leaf. I don't know what that new leaf means.
Haircut.
Nathan returns home from an investigation and Bill questions its outcome. That makes me think ongoing storyline there. Rosemary chases a scoop. I'm wondering if there's a connection. And Lucas makes a surprise announcement. Do you have any predictions of any of that? Like I have a prediction that investigation and Bill not sure about the outcome and is going to be something that's ongoing. What do you think about what I just read? Any predictions?
Well, I think Elizabeth's new leaf is probably her haircut. And I guess it's probably good we're in the 20s because I'm sure Aaron is really sick and tired of wearing those wigs. But the investigation, if Lucas is the governor and he's hurt in Capital City, I could see Bill being part of that investigation, but it does not make sense for Nathan to be part of that investigation because it did not happen in Hope Valley. And I know we've seen pictures of Elizabeth sitting by Lucas's bedside, and that does not look like the infirmary. So I was really disappointed that they would have had her travel to Capital City
Nikki
to sit with him after she just tossed him to the wayside.
It could be his home or wherever back in Hope Valley, wherever he's recouping. It doesn't necessarily mean she traveled there. It could be somewhere in in Hope Valley, but it's got to be kept as a secret because of what happened to him. So maybe that's why it's not in the infirmary, which is public. It could be
Well,
it
and
could be yeah.
right, I could see that, but the only problem with that is if he is hurt that badly and is unconscious, why would they be putting him on a train for 22 hours to move him away from a bigger, more major hospital?
Maybe he wasn't unconscious at that point. Maybe he was
Maybe
just
it's
asleep.
just,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
that
don't know. I don't
I
know, but
don't
that
know.
is a
We'll
good
have to
point.
find
Yeah.
out.
What do you think is okay? Here's number 2. Episode 2 is called Where to Watch. Oh no, it's not called Where to Watch. It's telling me where to watch. Dear Lord, Tomorrow Never Knows. Elizabeth and Allie plan a birthday party for Nathan. Lee and Rosemary weigh business responsibilities against family time, which I saw coming. Lucas settles into his role as governor. Hmm. Then we've got the next one, which is called Steps Forward. Rosemary and Bill team up to investigate a case they believe shouldn't be closed. The women of Hope Valley started daycare. Not surprised by that. And Hickam and May celebrate a milestone. What do you think the milestone could be?
Maybe an anniversary of their first date, or I don't know. Maybe find out they have the same birthdays. I don't know.
Who knows, right? Okay. I love that. That's cute. And along came a spider. Look at this one. It's Easter in Hope Valley. Elizabeth organizes an egg hunt with the help of Nathan. A visitor from Lucas's past gets the town talking.
Yay!
Angela and Cooper seek to mend a relationship. So I'm wondering, what relationship are Angela and Cooper seeking to mend? Who are they helping out? Who do you think's got some, like, do you think it's for the adults, or do you think it's a relationship that has to do with the kiddos?
I think it's kiddos, because the Canfields were the one family that left when Lucas left him in good stead. I mean, they came up and wished him well, and she
Yeah.
said she was going to pray for him and all of that. So I think the Angela and Cooper, it's probably a kid relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the rest of them? Easter egg
Oh,
hunt.
yes, but here's the one thing I think you will be interested in, and all of us. A visitor from Lucas's past gets the town talking. So who could be coming from his past that would get the town
I
talking?
am hoping beyond hope that it is Jeanette, that we finally get to meet Jeanette,
Okay.
and that she is way younger than everyone had originally pictured in their minds. And when she steps off that stagecoach, she is a beautiful, intelligent woman who has been carrying a torch for Lucas all this time. And maybe there's a great fan fiction out there right now that Michael, it's Michael something, I can't remember his last name, sorry Michael, is writing, and it's a Jeanette and Lucas fan fiction. And we come to find out that they had quite the relationship in the past, and Amos Dixon was after them. And so Lucas, in his kind self, sets her free and moves her away to hide her because he feels like he's a danger to her. And I'm hoping that it's Jeanette, and I'm hoping that it's maybe a long lost love for Lucas.
All right. Kathy says, I am Team Nathan. Okay. And I feel like I'm in the minority. All right. Not as Team Nathan, because there are many. I think I'm misread at first. I think if I'm not mistaken, Kathy, you're saying that you're a Team Nathan person, but when you say you're in the minority, either you think you're in the minority as my guest here, or you think maybe what comes next of what you want to say, that you're in the minority, because there are a ton of Team Nathan fans out there, even though we're still talking teams. That flip came out of nowhere and didn't make any sense. So I guess you're thinking, I guess the flip from last season, that she binge watched the show. That tells me everything I need to know. Okay.
Right.
Okay. Let's see, Christina, this is funny. The surprise announcement with Lucas is running for president. I find that funny, right? Because first of all, that he was running for governor. There's no such thing as governors in Canada.
Territorial governor, aren't they?
No, not even that. They're appointed. There's nothing like that. There's no election. So no. So I think that's hilarious. And that would be even hilarious if they decided to have presidents.
Well, maybe his surprise announcement in the first, what was it? The Lucas makes a surprise announcement. I don't remember what episode that was.
It's the very first one. Here's what I think. His surprise announcement is he's going to live in Hope Valley. He's not going to be living at the Capitol.
Right. And Chris kind of alluded to that in your interview with him, that, or I can't remember, but that it sounds like he might be spending time in Hope Valley. I know when we were at the Hearties family reunion, the office that is Judge Avery's was off limits to us. That was the one room building that we could not go in. And I just kind of, at that time, of course, we didn't know that Lucas was elected governor, but I'm wondering then if that isn't where they have created the governor's office.
Yes. And also maybe like the governor's mansion, and that was the bedroom he's in, and she goes there to travel, like you said,
right,
or not. I mean, I don't know, it could be the secret spot where they're keeping him in Hope Valley. And what a safe place that would be if they kept him in where there's upstairs quarters, because Henry used to be up there, even though we don't see it anymore. And then there's the court, like the office downstairs where Bill is as the mayor. And I don't know. There could be like,
if they do something like that, it would almost make me think that they decide to move him out of Capital City, but they're still putting on an act like he is still in Capital City, because the people that attacked him are still at large.
Right. And that's a way to keep him there protected and whatnot.
Right.
So, okay. I like that. And it's not such a public space like the jail or the hospital,
Right.
And it wouldn't bring, and you can't put him in someone else's home that could bring danger to that home. Avis says Angela and Cooper try to reconcile Joseph and Minnie's father.
Oh, that could be. That's a good one.
Yeah, I know.
I do know that Lucas comes back. He must come back to Hope Valley at some time, because when we were at the set tour on Sunday, there was a card in the infirmary that said "Get well soon, Lucas," and it was from the saloon staff.
And no, it was actually from Minnie's Cafe.
Oh, Minnie's Cafe.
Yeah.
So I wondered then, I thought, was that supposed to be left here, or was that purposely left here? So
it was removed right away. It was an accident.
Because I know right after I saw it, I walked outside and I saw Mike Magnuson was walking around, and he's a big, tall guy too, just like Chris. And I walked up to him and I said, "Are you Mike?" And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "I'm not sure if this is supposed to be there or not, but there's a get well card that is sitting in the infirmary." And he goes, "Oh, that's the one building I didn't do a final check on." So when I was in there, people will laugh, but when I saw it, there was nobody else in there when I was there. So I took a picture of it, but never shared it. And then I laid it down flat so people couldn't read it.
Well, there were other people that took pictures of it because they sent it to me, and I know it wasn't you, but someone got a hold of it and sent it to me and said, "Look at this." And I was like, "Oh, brother." So yeah, who knows? Yeah.
So you never know. And that could have purposely been done just so people would talk. And
yeah, you never know. Yes.
So I don't know.
I know. So you're a Heartie.
I'm a Heartie.
You're a Heartie. And even if people stop watching, There's still Hearties. They'll just be Hearties from the past, you know.
I should tell everybody that when we were at the cast interviews,
Mm-hmm.
and they brought like the costume people and the set decorators and all those
Nice.
people, they were the first panel. And then the next panel that came in, the table I was sitting at was towards the back. And I was like 2 tables in from the back doors. And the lady, it was Brian Bird's wife, who, by the way, I sat next to at the Vancouver airport waiting to fly to Denver.
Patty? Nice.
No, Brian Bird.
Oh, you sat next to Brian Bird. I forgot. Yes.
In the
Yes.
waiting area.
Yeah.
And so we were
Chatting.
well, yeah, but Patty Bird came by, and the lady that was sitting right on the aisle, she was going down the aisle and she was asking them to push their chairs in and please move if they could go stand at the back. And I thought, what's going on? So she did this all the way down, and then she went to go back outside and she opened the double door. So I turned around to look, and here was the main cast all lined up out there. And of course, Chris was a head taller than everybody. And I thought, oh my gosh, they're all right there. And so when they walked in really fast.
Mm-hmm.
And they did their discussion. And then when they walked out, they walked a little bit slower. So as they all walked out, and Kevin wasn't there because he had COVID.
Aw.
Kevin Smith was home. But as they walked back out, I got to talk to them each briefly and shake their hands. But Chris was hanging back because he was taking pictures with the little girl that made the dolls. But when he left, he walked back out the same way. So he walked right by me again, and I actually got to shake his hand and touch his arm and talk to him briefly. And I basically just said, Chris, your fans adore you. We absolutely adore you. And he up close is very tall. And it was just like, oh, I'm in heaven. I'm never washing my hand again.
There's a beautiful book that reminded me of by Patricia Polacco, and it's about the hand that touched the hand that touched the hand of Abraham Lincoln.
Oh,
And that book, I know this is like a side note. If anybody has an opportunity to ever read that book, you have a lump in your throat. But it's just what a meaningful thing in general is when you have, and of course, Abraham Lincoln for this particular kid was a superhero for them. And that's like kind of the same with some of our Hearties, how much they have invested in the show, and to be able to shake their hand has a lot of meaning, which is such a
well,
nice
it
thing.
did. And of course, he couldn't stop very long, and we couldn't
Mhm.
take pictures, but he did briefly stop while I was shaking his hand, and I touched his arm, and while we had that brief conversation, and he just, he said, thank you. He said, it was nice to hear that. So I have a question for you.
Okay, I'll see if I can answer it. I can't make promises.
Well, a couple. Where's Peter DeLuise been? He hasn't joined any of your chats. Is he still directing?
So he directs, and Peter, you don't know if he's there. He could very well be there. Apparently, many people from When Calls the Heart, Powers That Be, pop in and watch. I don't know if they do it live or not, but you can be here live, but we don't know because you don't jump into the comments.
Right.
And I don't know. And maybe he's not interested in what I have to say. I don't know. I don't know. I can't speak for him. And but he is directing. He was there. He was there last year. I'm not sure what the plans are for season 11 because they've kept everything so quiet. There isn't so much sharing as they used to do in the past. What's the other question you have for me?
How long does it take to film a block? I know a block is 2 episodes, but how long does it take to film that?
What was it? Because block is 2 episodes. Is it 4 weeks? I think it's something like that.
4 weeks.
Yeah.
So not this last September when they were shooting 11 and we were watching 10, but the reunion before where they the cast surprised everybody underneath
Mm-hmm.
the tent. They were filming season 10 then. So that was in September. So, and if they start in July,
They usually they wrap up filming around Chris's birthday in November.
right,
Sometimes it goes a week later. I remember the one time when they were doing the kissing on the bridge scene, they kind of left that for the last, and they were saying how dangerous it was with the wind blowing and the trees and
right.
everything. But they keep to that tight schedule. The filming starts in July, but the everyone else in production is there at least a month ahead, starting to get the whole area set up, and then they end in November. Like I think it's like the second week about of November.
Well, I
Um,
was just curious because the Hearties Family Reunion 22, when the cast surprised everybody at the tour, that was in late September again. So I'm wondering how far into season 10 they were, and if the cast knew then that there was going to be a big switch made.
I'm sure they did. They would know as soon as they got their script. Yeah.
Oh, and then we had to wait forever to get season 10 to premiere.
Hmm.
Do you think that's because of the switch in the showrunners and all of that, or?
No, it was because they premiered 2 new shows and they wanted to give a time. Okay, so their biggest moneymaker and usually and ranks most often number 1, because might come against a movie that's super popular that week and maybe ranked number 2, but is When Calls the Heart.
Right.
And so they were premiering 2 new shows, and they gave the time slot to Ride to give it a chance, because when they premiered season 10, it was in a time slot that has different ratings for When Calls the
Summer.
Heart.
Yeah.
Yes, and it has different ratings, but they still did really well for that time frame. So it had nothing to do with what and
It was just when they set everything up to show.
yeah,
Yeah.
because they knew it's strong, that people were gonna come out and watch it anyway. I'm sorry, go ahead, Nikki.
No, and Brian Bird, let's see, it was after the Friday night get together. There was a bunch of us that were still there, and we were talking to him. And he said then that the ratings were a bit down, but they felt that was because of the summertime premiere slot.
Yes, it was a different time slot, yeah.
Right. And
Um,
they didn't know for sure how well that was going to work. So, but he was asking us our opinions and stuff. And I on a couple occasions, once when I was sitting next to him in the airport, which was a fluke, and also during the reunion, and I told Michael Endon Jr. the same thing. He says, well, what keeps you watching? And I told both of them, it's Lucas and Elizabeth.
mhm.
That is why I'm still watching after Jack died, is because you brought Chris on, and the Lucas and Elizabeth love story is the main reason I watch. And of course, by then the die was already cast for season 11, and we just didn't know it.
Yeah. Gladys says, "Can I ask a question? Is it possible Elizabeth and Lucas could reunite?" And I will say I mean, there's always a possibility of something, but I will say a strong no. I do not think that they would flip flop, flip flop, flip
Again.
flop, flip flop, flip flop, flip flop. No, I think that that's done. That has ended. Yeah.
And in all honesty, I loved the Lucas and Elizabeth love story, and especially I love and I will miss the relationship between Lucas and little Jack, because I think that was really great. And one thing that kind of upset me, Brian Bird keeps talking about we need to be able to see the whole forest and not just the trees. Well, to me, I think they really missed the boat there, because the opportunities with Lucas as being governor, the opportunities for that relationship were endless to me. I mean, Elizabeth always talks about the education part of it and how she wants to do so much, but that could have been a great segue for her to be really important in the education of the children in the outlying areas.
Right. Well, here's the thing. We don't know exactly where the storyline is going. We
No.
can't, I can no longer predict because, and I'm used to making predictions. We actually teach our students how to predict because of what's happened, what you've read so far, right? If
Right.
you're reading or watching a story, because a story is scripted. But when you do something such as totally negate what's already been there, and this is not a debate. They negated stuff that was already
Yes.
there. For whatever reason, I'm not debating that, but things were like as if they didn't happen, but they did. So we're pretending that they didn't, and that's why I consider this a news story. But maybe we don't know, like we have no idea. It could be that the storyline that they give to Hickam and May turns out to be as fantastic as Rosemary and Lee's, and the storyline that they give to Lucas with possibly someone that comes from his past is phenomenal and excellent. And then branching off with Nathan and Elizabeth, people might find that to be something that surprised them, or the people that always wanted it will love it. So we don't know where it can go. There are all kinds of possibilities. I'm not, it could all be a dud. Do you know what I mean? But we don't know. We don't know what the idea was that was in their head, because it was just a surprise. It was a surprise for many people. Even the people that are excited for the Nathan storyline are surprised, you know?
Yeah,
So
they
who
are.
knows? Who knows what like him being governor and her going around doing her thing as a teacher is one thing, but then it might be too boring for him as her husband that way and as a couple. But her being maybe a couple with Nathan, they can have that kind of storylines. And Nathan, I hope, does more of his Mountie work, and Lucas going off and being governor, but with a different character, as maybe, because not everybody I feel like needs to be paired up, and it's a soap opera, everybody needs to quickly be paired up. I like the storylines that originated with the town itself. Brian is saying it was confirmed that they used 3 female directors. Now in the past they've always used always had the one female director who is also directs Virgin River, and Siobhan is her name. She even was interviewed on the spot at the Hearties when you were there for the family reunion this past
Yes.
year. She was there with Marg, and I forget who else, in one of the buildings, and doing her interview there.
They were
So,
in the cafe. Yeah,
yeah.
and I watched that interview, and what I thought was interesting is
Mm,
she was telling about the scene where it was Bill and Nathan and Lee and Rosemary and Elizabeth and Lucas, and she was explaining why they set Lucas where they did, because they wanted him closer to the camera because he was the primary spokesperson there. But it was funny because she made the comment, and she says that, and the fact that he is so tall and so handsome. And the two gals said, well, yes, he's definitely handsome. But a little later in that interview, she made the comment. She said, Elizabeth is an honorable woman. She's in love with Lucas. She will marry Lucas.
I know.
And I thought, okay, did they not even tell the directors what was going to happen here?
The directors knew. I know. I saw that too, and that that's the thing. And this is about what we love. So we can flip that and say what we love is in the past. We love the direct honesty of John Tinker when he would give host with the Hearties, and we love the direct honesty of in the past Alfonso when he would be interviewed. we love that. That's something that we as Hearties would love. So that's a big message right there. um,
Right.
Shay is saying that she agrees the outcome of season 10 is immaterial. The quality of the writing is important. And that's true. We want the quality of the writing to to improve. I do. I'm not saying Shay's saying that, but that's something that I love the quality of writing from the past. I would like to see it improve. I thought the quality of the writing in season 1 was outstanding. And then as the years went on, we got black holes. But they managed to be so clever without addressing those black holes and making us think those people were still there in the community, and mentioning them. They're very good at mentioning them. That's what I love, that there's the Bible that oh, her name just went out of my head, and I apologize because I've met her more than one time.
Oh, yeah, I know who
That
you're
has
talking
the
about.
Bible, and I love that's a great thing, and I hope that they adhere to it and stick to their new Bible, because they have new things that we'll have to pay attention to from season 10 moving forward. We're gonna wrap this up. I'm just looking down. Let's see. Kelsey saying John Tinker did a great job. I see Allie. I'm not sure what they're saying about that. Let's see. Oh, people, they're talking about the flip, and we're not here to talk about things that we don't like. We're just here to talk about things that we love and loved about When Calls the Heart. Okay, yes, the Bible, Allie in the Bible.
Allie
That's
is
why they're saying Allie, and I'm like,
Allie,
I don't
yeah,
know what they mean by Allie, and I'm like,
yeah.
but you know what? It's time for me to say goodnight.
Yes, because it's 8:20 here, so it's almost 9:30 for
People
you.
people are giving me a clue, and I'm not even getting clued in. That's the best. Let's see. Is Martin Cummings still going to be on the show? As far as I know, I think so. Why not?
I should tell Hearties, when we were at the tour on Sunday, we were walking back to the food tent, and a group of people, and I recognized the one gal as being Martin's daughter-in-law, I think.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
she had the grandson.
yes,
And
yeah.
so we stopped and talked to her, and we looked at the grandson. The grandson is the spitting image of Martin.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, I said, he looks just like his grandpa. And she says, it's funny. We found a picture of Martin when he was like 5 or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they do. They look just like each other.
I know. She was so excited in her pregnancy. I followed her with that. And she's so generous. If I ever had like a quick question about something on the set or whatever, not a spoiler, but I'd say, that object that's over there, can you tell me what it, and she would explain it like, oh, that's, a bat mitten from back in the day or whatever.
Right.
It's just so lovely. And she actually, I learned this from our guest that we had last year. We had the guest on that created the whole the water and the cove and all of that in the woods.
Oh, yeah.
And she was saying that Allie has a promotion. So she's not that just set decorator is not a good thing, but she's up as a set designer, I guess, and she has
Yeah.
a bigger position, which is nice. Good for her. Lillian is saying Allie Devereaux. Yeah,
Devereaux, that's right.
that is her name. But I wanted to post something that was so adorable, and I thought that was funny. Wait, equal. Allie will write the New Testament Bible of
Yeah.
That's so funny. I love that.
This is gonna be season 10 started. When Calls the Heart point. Well, I can't say point because that's supposed to be an improvement. And
yes,
the fact that whether or not it's an improvement is still for us to figure out, because if they left it at season 10, it was definitely not an improvement. So we'll have to wait and see what season 11 brings us.
Yeah, I know. We will see, and see how the ratings do. That will be interesting. I don't want I want people to be in love with something that they're doing, the actors be in love with what they're doing, the storyline, the writers, whatever, and just go on forever. Do you know what I mean? Wish them well. Don't wish them anything negative, because if I don't like something, I could just turn it off and move on, you know? Yeah,
And Chris seems to be pretty excited about his
he
season
is.
11. And
Yeah.
Kevin even made a comment in his interview that said he had a lot of scenes with Chris in
Yes.
season 11, and he was really excited about that.
I know. I like them two together. They're good friends. All right. Well, Nikki, I thank you so much for sharing your what you love and loved
Well, thanks
about
for inviting me.
yes. We'll just say goodnight to everyone. Next week is, I think, if I'm remembering in this tired brain, Brian Shively is going to come on and share all his things that he loves and loved, and his hopes for, the new season. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. He always has really good insight. All right, friends, I will see you, well, tomorrow if you're the Way Home fan. It was an exciting episode. That is a wonderful, wonderful show.
I'm
loving it.
behind on my episodes there. I need to go back and rewatch.
Ooh.
Oh, I've got them all recorded. I just haven't had time to watch. We've been so busy.
All right. All right. Stay in. We'll say goodnight after we say goodnight to everyone. See you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.